Exhumed on the Sega Saturn. It's certainly been a while. This is one of those early entries into the then fledgling first-person shooter arena, and despite a strong showing in both gameplay and sales, it's barely even mentioned among collectors and or gamers. Well, I love an underdog, so allow me to show to you all an FPS that for too long has been snubbed and shunned by the gaming masses. Now, Exhumed is not a forgotten masterpiece that's going to wow many modern gamers who've been playing Star Wars Battlefront recently. It's very much of its time. That being said, other less noteworthy games from this era are still being discussed and debated upon, particularly console versions of games such as Duke Nukem 3D, among others. So it's always puzzled me why games that did it right, like Exhumed here, like Alien Trilogy, are simply dismissed. Well, one reason is many of these games were in that halfway house of having 2D sprites as opposed to being fully three-dimensional. What a lot of people forget is you needed a supercomputer to run Quake at its best when that first came out. So what separates Exhumed from other dungeon crawler-esque third-person romps that seem to be 10 a penny at this time? Well, there's more than a little of the 1994 summer blockbuster Stargate sprinkled on this Doom-inspired effort, with its aliens invading and you being given your orders by the ghost of Pharaoh Ramses. Also worth noting is that although this game debuted on the Sega Saturn, PlayStation and PC ports quickly followed, and all have subtle differences in level design and placement of items and weapons, but all follow the same story. The only real difference of note between versions would be what it was known as in the States, where it was called Power Slave, which is as stupid a title as you can get. But the reason I'm making this video here today is because although a common assumption about the Sega Saturn was that it couldn't do 3D very well, and let's just quash that accusation right now, one big problem that did plague it, that everyone has seemingly just forgotten about, is that the save game feature could be a fickle mistress who on a whim either wouldn't save your game or could just delete everything on your memory card. And Exhumed is one of those games I never finished back then because of temperamental, crappy memory cartridges. And although I stayed loyal to the Saturn, supporting it until its discontinuation and beyond, the simpler save game feature was one of the reasons I also picked up a PlayStation. So in conclusion, do I recommend picking up a copy of Exhumed? Very much so. It has always been on the cheaper end of the scale for both Saturn and PS1, and providing you're not expecting greatness, you will be treated to sprawling exploration driven levels in this all-action FPS that has an important quality lacking in many of its contemporaries: fun. So my name's Gray, you've been watching Consoletronix. I'll have some more videos up very soon, so thanks for watching and goodbye.